Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle Jackham, and I am the social work manager at Crossroads for Hope. I'm also a cancer survivor myself. I want to welcome you all to Our Cancer Stories. It's truly an honor to stand before you as we come together for the fourth year of this remarkable program in collaboration with McCarter. Today, we continue our tradition of giving voice to the deeply personal and often untold stories of those whose lives have been touched by cancer. We gather in gratitude for the courage, vulnerability, and resilience of every individual who has chosen to share their journey with us. These stories of hope, loss, strength, and love serve as reminders of our collective humanity, and they help to break down the silence that often surrounds cancer. Over the past 4 years, we've seen the impact of this program. It has fostered connection, created community, and most importantly, empowered those who are living with, surviving, have lost, or supporting someone with cancer to speak their truth. By sharing their voices, these individuals remind us that every story, no matter how difficult, has the power to heal, to educate, and to inspire. Thank you, everyone here today. To those that are watching at home, for listening, for supporting, and for being part of this meaningful program. Together, we continue to build a space where stories matter, voices are heard, and no one has to walk this journey alone. And without further ado, I present Our Cancer Stories, Resilience in Words.
A tattoo. Not the cool, fun type from a regretful teenage romance. It's a symbol, a marker. It was against my will. It wasn't something I wanted or asked for, yet here I am with this tattoo, as well as 6 of its sisters. A freckle, however, is not just any freckle. It's black and dark. It's deep. It's not a badge of a vibrant, healthy youth. It's as dark as my future now seems. This tattoo assists the technician focusing the radiation to my breast. This tattoo helps the technician to not accidentally miss and hit my heart, causing heart ailments as I age. What's the worst that could happen? I already have cancer.
Things could be worse. At least you won't lose your hair.
Oh, by the way, is there any way you can move your surgery for a different day? After all, it's Christmas. Aren't you afraid you'll ruin Christmas?
Can you reschedule your appointments until after work?
Each dose of radiation to that freckle cooks me from the inside out. I'm exhausted in a way I have never felt before, yet I never miss a day of work. I know deep in my heart they would post my job before the obituary hit social media. Each dose to that freckle is another $1,000 I go deeper into debt. It's another reminder that I have the good cancer and I look like I've always been healthy. Yet every day I woke up with the arthritic fever of an octogenarian. I wanted to die. Every day. I was never allowed to wallow, to grieve a future that now seemed out of focus and dim. I had to pull it together. I was needed by my son, my husband, my widowed father. I had to be strong for them, yet there was no one for me to be weak. I don't know how I feel anymore. This freckle is definitive. It represents a world, a future that doesn't seem so open and expansive. This freckle represents my hatred of pink. I never liked it, I still don't. It's my hatred of the words warrior and brave. Those words presume that I chose this fight. This freckle represents a morning seen differently. The sun rises differently. The light creeps through the bedroom window and illuminates my son's face. I've made it another day. I'm alive to see another day.
It'll be fine. No one will notice, I promise.
They must think I'm the most childish, selfish, and vain person in the world.
After all, it looks just like a freckle.
Pelvis pushed out, hip out of whack. Dog pulled me over. Oh, my aching back. 6 months of PT, chiropractic, and more. Now the pain's moved to a different shore. Sparks down my thighs, numbness sets in, CAT scans, MRIs. What's this within? A mass, says the doctor. A growth in your bone. Now you must know, you will not be alone. Treatment is starting. Goodbye to despair. A road towards survival. I'll still keep my hair. Minimally invasive. Radiation 10 days. Then a daily pill to fight the rest of the way. Non-smokers cancer. Why? How can that be? 30 years of chalk dust waiting for me. They say it's plastics, environmental disease. A death sentence has brought me down to my knees. Take one step ahead. Don't look toward the light. You're strong and you're ready to take on this fight. Another life challenge to grow and to heal. A chance to grow stronger. A lifetime to feel.
It's our daughter, Erica Lynn, whom we mourn. Our hearts are broken, shattered, torn. She may be out of sight, but never out of our mind. It's peace we hope to finally find. We miss you today, tomorrow, and always, especially when we do just about anything without you nowadays. Our loss is so profound to your memory, we'll always be bound. 47 years is not long enough. Cancer, it's just too darn tough. Erica Lynn will be forever remembered and loved. And she is now our guardian angel from up above. We miss you and love you, Mom and Dad.
A brisk November Saturday afternoon in 1982, I was looking for something to do that night. Not something typical, but something with substance. Looking through the weekend section of the Philadelphia Inquirer, I found it. There was going to be a poetry reading at a bar that I hadn't been to, located on the southern edge of Center City, Philly, a place that was neither here nor there. With enough time to arrive, I drove down from my little row house in a leafy neighborhood, a short walk from the sprawling northwestern section of Fairmount Park. After finding a parking spot, I walked to the 1300 block of South Street, a block that was normally empty of activity, but for this bar and the occult shop just down the block. The Bacchanal was where artists, writers, art students, and other artsy types who lived in or near Center City hung out. The facade was a cacophony of bas-reliefs, pieces of sculpture and printed brick. Color, motion, and emotion were evident. I inquired about the reading and was directed to a room through a double door in the wall. Though there was no one in there, so I picked what I thought would be the best spot. A single chair table located in a small nook off-center from the podium. Within 10 minutes of my arrival, people began filing into the room. Shortly, the room was overflowing. There were 3 people at the podium, and one took the mic.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Bacchanal and the monthly poetry reading of Open Mouth Poetry. My name is Elizabeth, and I will introduce all of tonight's readers. First is...
The evening rushed by. Poetry of various types was read. There was laughter, outcries of "Right on!" and quiet. But then she read. The room had an air of anticipation. Everyone followed every word. It was so obvious that she was on a totally different level from all the others. She announced when and where the next reading was, thanked everyone, and offered a safe trip home. The room was now filled with standing people, some talking, others moving slowly to exit. I followed the latter crowd. Hi, I'm Dan. I really enjoyed tonight, especially your poetry.
Oh, thank you. I'm Elizabeth.
On a hot, humid August Saturday in 1984, we were married at a small, lovely mansion we had rented, which adjoined an Episcopalian church in St. David's on Philadelphia's Main Line. It was a great party. On the coldest day in February in 1986, Lizzie gave birth to our daughter, our only child. That night, the three of us lay in the hospital bed, looking out the window at Center City below and the gently falling snow. On the 18th of May, 2016, my darling wife of almost 32 years died after a 20-month struggle with MMMT, a rare cancer that affects only women. Her quality of life was quite high for 16 of those 20 months. If you had met her in February or March of 2016, you would not have known all that she had been through or all that she was going through. Lizzie is, in my heart, more than I had ever thought a wife, lover, friend, partner could or would be. She was one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. She was beautiful, kind, thoughtful, sensitive, insightful into what others had in their hearts, energetic and creative. She was one of the best dancers on any dance floor anywhere. Oh, she had her tough side. She was, after all, from a working class neighborhood in Philly, just like me. But that toughness tended to be reserved for those whom she loved the most. And she was always right. Lizzie worked hard her entire life, earned everything she achieved. Even when she could just take it easy, she still chose to work. That's who she was. I love her deeply, completely as she did me. The gift of her life liberated me, allowing me to love fully and be loved fully in return. And that's the way it was for her too, although she would initially reject such a notion. I am a lucky man, and I'm deeply grateful to my Lizzie. I weep every day. I've placed altars around the house containing photos of her, pull her clothing that hangs in our closet to me each night so that I can smell her lovely scent. To paraphrase W.H. Auden, she was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, and my song. I send love to all those going through the limitless heartache of having lost a spouse or significant other.
We sit before them, story crammed. 3 women back from the dead. Almost. We are their rescue. From an hour's PowerPoint of stats, charts, laws, we're survivors diagnosed. Late stage, the first live patients they've met. We look pretty good. Maybe not to them. Still, we hear a young man whisper, "Should have sent some really sick ones." We pull our stories over dark water, relive years of hope and error, our own, and all our white coat shamans. We tell again the tribute paid too late. Ovaries, womb, hair, bone. To the monster that hid in us, unrecognized. He's always coming back. More years of tests, trials of ghosts, demanding pronunciation. Perhaps our voices shake. A hand goes up. staring the stale classroom air. Another, the tug of their questions draws us on lifelines, pulling our boats to shore.
Almost a normal day. You had more sleep last night than you have had since before this began, went to the gym, walked to the campus bus, walked to the office through the university, just like before. Baby girl comes home tonight. You and she will go wig shopping tomorrow. I'll do some work around the house like everything is normal. Within a couple of days, I'll no longer be giving you those shots. Life continues. Astrophysicists present a theory that black holes do not exist. Our bodies are made of atoms created by exploding stars. There are protons, there are neutrons, there are electrons. We're told we are part of the universe, that we live on a small planet in a galaxy like billions of other galaxies. I don't know if any of that's true. And if it is, then what's it mean for you, baby girl, me? Where do I find the answers? In the small? Out in the large? Are there answers? Cancer cells divide, never stop dividing. A student obsessed with doing basic arithmetic. Does the universe do that? Keep on dividing, down to the smallest part, up to the largest. Is the universe cancer? Is that what this is? We are? If there's one, then must there be two? Is there always an opposite? If there is something, then there is nothing. There's you, there is baby girl, there's me. We are something.
When I was pronounced with my cancer diagnosis many, many years ago, I was more shocked than anyone. At that point, I was labeled with numerous new titles. Allow me to enumerate. I was a victim. I was luckless. I was unfortunate. I was ill-fated. I was blighted. I was a sad case. I was cursed. I was terrified. I made everyone else relieved I wasn't them. Understand? People said all the right things and affected all of the correct emotions and conveyed all of the best possible intentions. Time passed, and I didn't. There were more labels. I was a fighter. I was a soldier. I was so brave and strong. I was fortunate. I was lucky. I was accepting. I was a survivor. I was a long-term survivor. Ugh. Many years elapsed, and at some point, I was confident and secure in my newly acquired modicum of good health. I was safely cancer-free. I was healthy until I wasn't. With absolutely no warning, my weight dropped. My blood work reflected a loss of hemoglobin. My iron was more than less the value it had been. The generalist, the hematologist, the gastroenterologist, the surgeon, the radiologist, the oncologist, everyone agreed the big C had returned. No ifs, ands, or buts. Another new title. Poor, pitiful me. And then the testing, searching, looking, investigating, pushing, and intense probing began. I was transfused and fused and refused and x-rayed, scanned, rescanned, superscanned, checked, rechecked. And my favorite, I swallowed a palm-sized camera and had pictures taken. Months of constant and intense and consistent testing yielded nothing. Not an answer, not a reason, not a choice, not a solution. No cancer. Everything was fine. Really? Maybe yes, maybe no. And so it may go. Lessons learned. Cancer has no expiration date. Don't ever underestimate it. It has capabilities we don't even know. My newest and sweetest label, I am a very lucky survivor. Yes.
Dear C, we peacefully partnered for over 50 years. You grew as I grew. Both of us changed as we aged, becoming denser and more substantial as we progressed from child to adult, and then from motherhood to menopause. Back when we were in our 30s, we learned the customary dance. You knew your steps, and I knew mine. We did this repetitive do-si-do as the technicians scanned the images on the screen. At the end of the perennial boogie-woogie, we'd hear, "All clear, see you next year." But not this time. This time, you lost your footing. And your imperfections chassed onto the dance floor. Our shared rhythm was destroyed, ruined in an instant. Our graceful duet ended that day. We would never trip the light of fantastic again. I wanted you removed right from my sight, and I wanted you to take your left friend with you. I want you to know that you changed me that day from a prancing dancer to a patient with cancer. But I also became a thriving survivor despite your efforts. Yes, I look different, but I'm also freer, lighter, healthier. Your betrayal will never be forgotten or forgiven. Good riddance. Your human vessel.
It's been 3 years since my successful cancer surgery in my parotid gland. Apart from some remaining nerve damage, I've thrived. No chemo, no radiation. Healthy eating and a positive attitude have carried me forward. And then a new mole suddenly appeared on my arm. It bleeds. It itches. My fears reemerge. The what-if questions tug away at my brain. I can't go down that rabbit hole. I made an appointment with the dermatologist. Yes, it's melanoma. Of course it is. I was blonde and blue-eyed and suffered sunburn as a child. No surprises there. Early stage diagnosis, though. Within 3 weeks, I see the oncologist surgeon, and a date is set for my surgery. I should be whooping for joy. After all, the prognosis is good. The melanoma will be removed. Why am I feeling this negative reaction when so many around me are suffering from late-stage diagnosis and their prognosis is not encouraging? Light bulb moment. It's about the cold, clinical way I'm being pushed through the medical system. Appointments are short, 15 minutes tops. They're focused on the disease, not on me, not on how I'm feeling. No conversations about that at the clinic or the hospital. No information leaflets for me to take away. No smile in the waiting room when I'm feeling the most anxious. Have the staff forgotten that we are human beings? That they are human beings too? Thank goodness I have Crossroads for Hope at my back.
I felt uneasy on my last chemotherapy treatment. Cancer and chemotherapy were physically and emotionally draining. But my doctor and supportive medical staff have helped me through it and by taking care of me on both physical and emotional level. They always reassured me when I needed it and helped me through difficult and frightening times. Knowing I would have to leave their safety net was difficult, and equally frightening was having to move on to another unknown. A stem cell transplant. I felt sad and frightened, but I pushed through my last chemotherapy treatment anyway, albeit without ambivalence. The nurse administering me final treatment was wonderful. When I told them that it was my last one, they became excited.
Do you want to ring the bell? It's a ritual for patients finishing their last chemotherapy treatment. Come with me.
At first, I wanted to. In boxing matches, the bell is rung after the end of a round, but the fight is not necessarily over. I was reluctant to ring the bell because my struggle is not yet over. My nurse told the other nurses where we were headed, and they got excited and joined me for the ritual. They watched and cheered as I rang the bell. It was a brass bell mounted on the wall and with a brass sign that said, "In celebration of the end of chemo and the continuation of life." I rang once tentatively, then again with more gusto. The sound and vibration resonated through me. And at that moment, my reluctance faded away and was replaced by the joy of the staff cheering me on, which it made me realize that I accomplished something big. I did it! I got through numerous tests and challenges, tremendous anxiety and miserable side effects, and even though my fight is not over, the sound of the bell at that very moment made me ready for the next challenge. It washed away my anxiety and ambivalence and replaced them with the elated feeling of accomplishment. At that moment, nothing else matters. Nothing else mattered, not even fear of the unknown.
When the bell tolls, do I answer the call? When our lips touch, does it mean I'm the object of your desire, or am I walking on a high wire and blaming only me when I land in the den of lions below? The phoenix cannot rise when the ash is heavy, the weight of the buildings colliding, collapsing on a softened soul who only wanted to exist in a time, a space, for as long as she had control, which was not possible. Why wait for the kids to be born, for the family to leave, to establish the role of the terminally ill, the wasted life, the fear factor, scare tactic, the one to run from? I was not to have, I was to hold, I was too old. I wasn't enough to be accepted, rejected on the regular. My aching achievements taken away. All I worked for is gone in a day, with the wind in the depths of our sins and the weakness to which we subscribe. I, on one hand, oblige. I walk side by side with the sky, but the heavens does not appear to my eyes. There is no space to connect the two. Sky fitting heaven, weakened and beaten, but how can I attach to a world that has discarded me and told me I don't belong here? How do I hold on to the light, the traveling roads, and being alone? It's too much on days and nights alone with my stash and a little extra cash from some savvy dealings. Yes, I am appealing, but not to the right ones. Why can't I attract better than the demons? The outbreak of a plague and the repercussions of 600,000 dead in the streets, and yet I sit amidst my sheets and hide and wish to die quietly, without fanfare or long drawn-out goodbyes. It's the suffering of anticipation that makes it so unbearable. For children, for the grief I absorb and should push forth instead onto those who should own it, I am not the one. Rotating around an unknown sun, looking for my sun in the light of the summertime, the Catskills shine and burn my eyes. The mountains are watching and waiting for me to die. It's torture. It's torment, but what can be done? When your time is up, you just can't run. Frozen. Heart open, but cannot move an inch for fear of being pinched hard by the universe and the depth of the thin lines on which I travel and wish for solid ground. I want to be found out here in the mountains where my family took bullets and then their own life. And where do we go from here? Watch the news? Read bad reviews of art you could never create? Like being a subjugate matter for the destined courts of judgment to decide on when and where I go? Is it a realm just next door? Is it a far off universe? Is it a black hole of darkness where I can't see my friends, my babies again? It doesn't work like that, my child, he said, he being the god of fairy tales and fantasy, she being the true mother of earth and the universe. She is me, and I am she, and we are we, and God is only here. I have the control, yet I let it be in the hands of the lost ones who are crossed along their own crucifixion and shame. I will never change. A deranged beauty with a strong sense of shame, but must I die with this stain on my name?
It was a year I will never forget. A year brimming with every conceivable emotion beneath the sun. A year of heartache. A year of love. A year of anger. A year of sadness. A year of frustration. A year of darkness. A year of joy. A year of hope. A year packed with every feeling the human heart can endure. A year that, as an adolescent, reshaped my life forever. It began with coming out to my loved ones. It began with my first relationship. It began with finding comfort in my own skin. It began with a father's disapproval. It ended with my first broken heart, a cancer diagnosis. My initial rounds of chemotherapy, grappling with the harsh side effects, a broken home, a broken family. It ended with questioning why this had happened to me. It ended with suicidal thoughts. It ended, and a new year began.
I avoid the light on brighter days. I should have known better than to look directly at my grace. Now we speak of sons, and who will be the last one standing? I am not demanding, but will seek out the answers. Debilitated by the bastards who've shown their face, but never skin. Walked within the mental temple, I begin, but apparitions are the outlines of our sins. I strolled with her in the sunrise. She sang to me lullabies. I waited for her endless times, but I was never told. We watched the clouds unfold. How dare she be so bold? Hear my prayers, wipe my tears, watch me grow old. For years, I waited on that block, connecting time and youth as one. I circled like my childless mom waiting for my turn around the sun. It bled me dry from all I cry, waiting for her to rise from the darkness inside as she collapsed instead, as at the foot of the bed. And we pray to what we cannot see. The evidence will never be in the shade of yesterday. I see what I've been circling in the beauty we are birthing, only to hand it over in the end. It will not bend. I cannot go. I will not send him there. My grace, you have outgrown me. I wish you would have known me longer than our summer times. I rise every day like the 4th of July, hoping you will be a firefly, a firework up in the sky, or something that can never hide from me again. I live with your ghost. I collapse as a host of your fragile soul. I want to feel you near me, but you fear me. I fear, my dear, it's now end.
It was the time of pre-COVID, and my internist encouraged me to get a colonoscopy. Results were suspicious, and in an instant, my life changed forever. I was diagnosed with colon cancer. It had metastasized to my liver. I would be needing chemotherapy, and that was just the beginning. I'm treatable, but not curable. And that's when I decided I would not let cancer define me. I permitted myself to cry, but then on to living my best life. I've seemed to be in a class of my own, as I have had 83 individual treatments, and I'm going strong. My dedicated and caring doctor says I'm, quote, perfectly imperfect. In fact, boring. And he wants me to stay that way. I have no regrets that, and that this is a good thing. So when my time does come to an end, I pray that my family knows that I love them with every fiber of my being, and want to keep our precious memories alive, for that is tradition. I know I'm overly sensitive as I navigate this unwanted, unasked for journey, but I feel blessed and ever so grateful. I have met some courageous and special people along the way, and this has made the difference.
Spring laces the park with leaves and brings in the great walks of protest against dying. All winter bodies have turned on themselves, grown tumors, grown toxic, turned cold. Now this green weekend, we who survive and remember stream up from the subway, cage in the blast, and the beat of Times Square. We elbow, slump, dance in place, thrust signs skyward that speak temporary alliance against deaths. Who do you think we are? The great clouds of spring mass overhead as we break free of flesh and concrete as we move into the park. Like trees we flower, stories unfold. You lose your whole self those days right after treatment. No one there could speak my language. She was old and no one cared. Who do you think we are? We have paid in years of gloss and cover, filling in the cancer hollows of cheeks, replacing lost eyebrows. You cannot make up a ghost. The park goes on furling glamour in goodie bags of blush and liner. We try to release fear to the green filter light to triumph silently. In one more spring, in memory of walkers that we have lost.
Drown in our sorrows in the sea of grief. Wipe the salt from your watery eyes. Shades of blue reflect the depth of our sadness. The sea roars with me as waves crash, relentless and raw. Silent movements. The sun's warm light pierces through. Today is not every day in the endless sea of grief.
4 years ago, I remember in January, I'll never forget when I discovered I had cancer. The first person in my family to have cancer. You know, my doctors and nurses, they're the very best. They always say they are part of my family. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm okay. Thank God, and everything is okay so far.
This October 15, 2024, it will be 3 years that I've been cancer-free. Thanks be to God. The fear of having a recurrence, well, thank God those thoughts haven't been too prevalent lately. The chemo and hormone blockers make me lose my hair, my menstruation, my ability to have children, my ability to work. When I bend down to pick up clothes off the floor, I can't get back off the floor because my feet hurt so bad from the chemo-induced neuropathy. This October 15th, 2024 will be 3 years. 3 years that I've been cancer-free. And all these things in my life, they've changed. They have changed. If you're experiencing this horrible disease, I pray that you have the courage to fight. And I pray that you will become cancer-free and never have a recurrence. I love you all.
Calm.
There's a routine calm that is experienced prior to and during a yearly physical examination. I feel good and expect nothing but the same good news that I have received in my past examination. Blissful ignorance as I await the results from my blood analysis.
Diagnosis.
Question arises because one of my levels is above normal. I consult with a urologist who tells me that there may be some concern with my prostate. He recommends a biopsy. I'm not concerned, because I feel perfectly healthy. Biopsy hurt. Shortly after that, I was told I had prostate cancer, which was treatable. My urologist said there was no urgency. I had plenty of time to research and obtain other opinions. What he didn't tell me was that my PSA was increasing, and I was a rare candidate who may be susceptible to aggressive expansion of prostate cancer.
Fear.
Having cancer is scary. What do I do? Am I going to live? Could I die from this? How will it affect my life? Are these treatments difficult? Can I do them? Will they be successful?
Mortality.
Cancer is a rough road. I watched my father and my brother die from cancer.
Choices.
I chose radiation primarily because traditional radiation was painless, even though there was internal scarring, which could cause future challenges if there was a need for surgery in the future.
Knowledge.
So pulling information together and discussing it with my wife, we had to make some decisions. After receiving 2 second opinions on my diagnosis, we chose faith in God, life, and we elected to have robotic surgery versus traditional surgery.
Advantages, disadvantages, concerns, results.
My initial results were positive. I was told that even though the cancer had spread beyond the prostate, it was all removed and everything was fine. I did not know the subtleties of that statement. I was lulled into a general state of wellness and thought everything was going to return to normal. I was not told about nor treated for the aggressiveness of my cancer and was not prepared for its return.
Regrets.
I regret not completely vetting the physician and the nature of his practice prior to deciding. I regret having surgery in the late afternoon and instead of the morning. I regret choosing a practice that focused on volume instead of patient needs.
Reintegration.
The road to recovery was difficult.
Living in fullness.
In the months after my initial surgery, my mind and spirit were focused on complete recovery.
The cancer returns.
About 9 months after my initial surgery, I started to get sick. When I contacted my surgeon's office, I was told that the doctor had a full schedule and could see him in a month. It was my primary physician who acted with urgency. While treatments were challenging, we weathered this part of the storm.
New cancer to deal with.
During my final phase of evaluation and checkout for my prostate cancer, one of the requirements was a full CAT scan. The scan showed a glowing spot on the top lobe of my left lung, which turned out to be cancer. I was not a smoker. I had never smoked. This lobe was removed with no additional treatment. I've been totally cancer-free for 8 years.
The changing role from patient to caregiver.
2 years ago, we were faced with another new challenge. Pat's diagnosis of breast cancer. This was my switch from cancer patient to cancer caregiver.
Determined to lift my sad spirits after my husband died, I bought a front row seat for Harvey, my favorite comedy about an eccentric bachelor who turns reality upside down when he befriends a puka. Sadly, I found myself seated beside a misbehaving boy of about 8. Stop. Make me. Where's your chaperone?
He's backstage dressing for the show.
Pop one in.
No.
Please.
No.
Please pretend. Perfect. What's your name?
Billy.
Do you know what a puka is, Billy?
Elwood's big white rabbit friend.
Not necessarily. In the Irish language, puka is puka. The puka sometimes appears as a goat. Or a horse.
You think you're some kind of puka expert, huh?
I teach folkloristic, which includes cultural fantasies like Irish pukas.
Pukas are real.
He's too young for philosophical discussions of illusion versus reality, so I say nothing. I read that children with imagination grow up more creative. I don't want to squash that. The lights dim, the curtain rises, and I set my program on the armrest between us. We watch the madcap puka comedy unfold, and the boy explodes into giggles. I catch them as he giggles in tandem. The curtain drops. We wait for the actors to take their bows. Do you have a puka?
I am a puka. I belong to him. Everybody needs a puka, especially you. Agree?
Think.
Hey. Would you like to be this lady's puka? Okay, you like her and will be her friend. Mustn't forget your program.
Let's go.
So now, I am here. A millennia of days, each a lifetime. It is snowing lightly, carefully. It'll become rain when the temperature rises. And now, I am here. We are made from the residue of long ago exploding stars. We are old as time, as young as the cells of our faces that have just replaced themselves with the dust of those stars that keep repeating. Everything is old. Everything is new. Lessons are learned, unlearned, relearned, forgotten, remembered. I am here. A millennia of days. We are so insignificant in this place of stars and stardust, of age so old that the numbers they lose their meaning, lose their significance. Somehow, for some reason, we appear. We travel with time, walk and talk. We come upon someone. The gravity of those stars, it pulls us. Somehow, in some way, we defy physics. Prove the point as being incorrect, or do we? We meld, we merge, we blend, and then a millennia of days, an end comes, arrives. And one tries to stand, tries to see, even here. A touch has ended. Taste is meaningless. Spoken words echo with no response. Understanding has come to an end. Knowledge drifts away. What was understood cannot now be known. What I cannot understand reduces me to the quintessential I can remember. And in the remembering, I'm awakened to a feeling, to the pull of the stars, to the pull of you. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you so much. If you now turn your attention to the screen,